Welcome to Dolphin Dive Daily, your go-to spot for everything Miami Dolphins. If you bleed aqua and orange, hit that subscribe button and join the pod. The Miami Dolphins have found a gem in Zach Sieler, and it's finally time the rest of the NFL started to take notice. Heading into his 8th season in the league, Sieler isn't just another name on the Dolphins' defensive line, he's become its heart and soul. Despite often being overshadowed by flashier names or bigger market players, Sieler's production in 2024 has become impossible to ignore. That's exactly why an anonymous NFL coordinator recently gave him an honorable mention among the top defensive tackles in the league, as reported by ESPN's Jeremy Fowler. The quote says it all. He's probably getting more credit for his 2024 performance because Christian Wilkins wasn't there. Tough, smart, dependable, ultimate team guy. This isn't just praise. It's validation of years of under-the-radar dominance. When a respected voice in the NFL calls you all-pro caliber, people listen. And Dolphins fans, they've been watching it all unfold for years. Now let's talk numbers, because Sieler's stats in 2024 weren't just impressive, they were elite. Racking up 10 sacks in just 15 games is an achievement that should have every offensive coordinator paying attention. But it wasn't just the sacks. With 13 tackles for loss and 19 quarterback hits, Sieler was a menace. Whether he was penetrating the backfield or disrupting the pocket with brute strength and savvy technique, he constantly tilted the field in Miami's favor. And the kicker, he did all this without Christian Wilkins beside him for most of the season. That meant more double teams, more responsibility, and far more pressure to anchor a three-man front. Yet Sieler didn't just survive, he thrived. The Dolphins' defensive identity in 2024 was built around his presence, his motor, and his consistency. He was the guy opposing teams had to game plan around, and more often than not, they failed. Sieler's honorable mention in ESPN's 2025 rankings marks a significant step up from where he stood just a year ago. Back in 2024, he was merely in the conversation, receiving a few scattered votes, but no formal recognition. That's changed now. His name is no longer whispered in analyst rooms. It's spoken with respect. He's knocking on the door of the top 10, and there's a real chance he busts that door wide open with another dominant campaign this year. The player currently holding down the number 10 spot, that would be Cameron Hayward of the Pittsburgh Steelers, a respected veteran who's now 36 years old and dealing with lingering injury concerns. As Hayward potentially declines, the window opens wider for younger, hungrier talents like Sieler to climb into elite territory. The departure of Christian Wilkins to the Las Vegas Raiders left a massive hole in Miami's interior line. But what's remarkable is how Sieler didn't just fill that gap. He elevated his own game. In 2024, Wilkins was supposed to be the guy, the cornerstone, but fate had other plans. A Jones fracture ended Wilkins' debut season in Vegas after just a few games, robbing fans of what could have been a standout year. Still, Wilkins earned an honorable mention of his own, showing just how much respect he still commands across the league when healthy. "I know he's hurt, but I love this guy," said another NFL coordinator. Absolutely a top interior player when healthy. That statement applies to both Wilkins and increasingly to Sieler as well. The difference is Sieler was available and he delivered. Wilkins' injury also unintentionally gave Sieler the platform to lead Miami's defensive front. No longer in the shadow of a more high-profile teammate, Sieler had the spotlight all to himself in 2024, and he didn't shrink from the moment. Week in and week out, he lined up against the NFL's best and beat them. That kind of reliability is rare in today's league, where defensive tackle play often gets overlooked unless it comes with flash. But Sieler brings substance. He's not a player chasing headlines. He's chasing quarterbacks, stuffing runs, and playing fundamentally sound football every snap. That's the kind of mentality that coaches love and teammates rally around. And with a coaching staff that values discipline and toughness, Sieler is perfectly molded for the Dolphins' defensive culture. As the Dolphins prepare for the 2025 season, they've added some serious help for Sieler in the trenches. Kenneth Grant, the towering defensive tackle out of Michigan. Drafted in the first round, Grant brings both pedigree and production to Miami's line. His final college season was a showcase of strength and athleticism. 32 tackles, 3 sacks, and 5 passes defended. Those numbers earned him All-American honors and the attention of scouts across the country. But more importantly, Grant's addition gives Miami a new dynamic duo up front. Paired with Sela, he could create one of the most fearsome interior tandems in the AFC. Dolphins defensive coordinator Anthony Weaver is already singing his praises during OTAs, calling him a player who will reach every bit of God-given potential. And with mentors like Sailor and Benito Jones in the locker room, Grant is in excellent hands. Weaver's excitement about Grant isn't just coach speak, it's rooted in vision. The Dolphins are clearly trying to reload and retool their defense after the departure of Wilkins and a season filled with injury woes. But the core philosophy remains, built from the inside out. In that system, players like Siller are indispensable. He's not just a mentor for Grant, he's the example. The way he trains, the way he plays, the way he leads. It's what young linemen are expected to emulate. That's why this honorable mention is more than just a footnote. It's proof that the NFL is finally catching on to what Miami has known. All along, Zach Sieler is a foundational piece. And if Grant develops as hoped, the Dolphins could be looking at their next great interior line duo. So, what's next for Sieler? The goal is clear. Crack that top 10 list in 2026, and there's every reason to believe he can. With another season of 10-plus sacks, disruptive backfield play, and Iron Man-level durability, the recognition will come. And let's be honest, the league loves consistency. If Sieler can repeat or even improve on his 2024 numbers, the All-Pro talk won't just be coming from anonymous coordinators. It'll be national. The media will start to give him the same coverage they give to players like Quinnen Williams or Chris Jones, because numbers don't lie, and neither does tape. The eye test, the stats, and the respect of his peers all say the same thing. Sieler belongs among the elite, but even with personal accolades in reach, Sieler's focus has never been on individual awards. He's a team-first guy through and through. That's what makes his rise even more admirable. In a league filled with ego and noise, he's the quiet storm. He shows up, does his job, and dominates in the trenches without the need for attention. And now, with a young, talented partner beside him and a defense built to disrupt, Sieler is poised to help lead Miami back into playoff contention. The Dolphins' future on defense starts with players like him. Reliable, relentless, and always rising. So while the spotlight may have arrived late, it's here now. And Zach Sieler, he's ready to shine even brighter in 2025 in the grand scheme of things. Sieler's journey is one of perseverance and growth. He wasn't a household name when he entered the league. He didn't have the hype, the draft status, or the immediate opportunity. But what he did have was grit. Every season, every rep, every play has been about getting better, earning respect, and proving he belongs. That's why this honorable mention isn't the finish line. It's a checkpoint on a road still being traveled. The 2025 season offers a new chapter with fresh challenges and higher expectations. But if the past is any indication, Zach Sieler won't just meet those expectations, he'll exceed them. Because that's what elite players do. They rise, they lead, and they never stop working. And now, with the league finally watching, Sieler is ready to take that final step into greatness. Still with us? Then show some love. Hit that like button and let us know in the comments. What's your take on the Fins this week? Rumors are swirling around Miami as whispers of a serious rift within the Dolphins' wide receiver core have begun surfacing. According to sources close to the team, star receiver Jalen Waddle has reportedly made it clear that he no longer wishes to take the field alongside fellow Pro Bowler Tyreek Hill. This shocking revelation comes as an unexpected turn for fans who believe the duo had one of the most electrifying on-field chemistries in the league. The Dolphins' offense, once hailed as unstoppable thanks to the Waddle-Hill tandem, could now be facing internal collapse. While no official statement has been released by the team or either player, reports suggest tensions have been simmering behind closed doors for months. Some insiders claim Waddle has privately voiced frustrations over Hill's behavior and influence in the locker room, calling it toxic and divisive, according to those allegedly familiar with the situation. Jalen Waddle, known for his quiet demeanor and professionalism has rarely been the subject of off-field controversies. That makes these rumors all the more shocking. The idea that he would openly criticize a teammate, let alone a high-profile one like Tyreek Hill, suggests a deeper and more personal issue. Sources indicate that Waddle feels undermined and disrespected by Hill, citing multiple instances where Hill allegedly disregarded team unity and prioritized his own spotlight. It's being said that Hill's polarizing personality has created a clear divide among players, with some aligning with Waddle and others staying silent out of fear of rocking the boat. Tensions reportedly came to a head during the off-season training sessions, where a heated exchange between the two receivers allegedly led Waddle to tell coaches and front office staff that he would not continue playing if Hill remained on the roster. The Dolphins front office is now faced with a potential locker room implosion. Behind the scenes, coaches and executives are reportedly scrambling to contain the situation before it spills further into the public eye. The Dolphins, poised to be serious contenders in the upcoming season, now find themselves in the middle of a growing internal storm. Waddle, considered by many to be the future of the franchise, has reportedly expressed concerns over what he perceives as favoritism toward Hill. Insiders claim that Hill often receives special treatment during practice sessions, film reviews, and even off-the-field marketing pushes. Waddle's camp is said to be frustrated by the lack of balance, especially given Waddle's consistent production and commitment to the team's success. Some believe that this imbalance has created a toxic environment where players feel forced to choose sides. With training camp just around the corner, all eyes are now on the Dolphins front office to see how they handle this potentially season-defining drama. The wider NFL community is already buzzing with speculation about how this conflict could reshape the Dolphins' trajectory. Analysts are pointing to past examples of internal disputes tearing apart promising teams, and many are warning that Miami might be headed down a similar path. Tyreek Hill's fiery personality, while an asset on the field, has long been a topic of conversation behind closed doors. His brash style and outspoken nature, which some call leadership, others reportedly see as arrogance. If Waddle's alleged comments are true, this could be a pivotal moment in Hill's career, forcing him to reflect on how he's perceived not just by fans but by his own teammates. Several former players have taken to social media cryptically, referencing locker room cancers, fueling speculation that this situation is more serious than anyone initially believed. What started as subtle tension may now be boiling over into something irreparable, even more concerning for Dolphins fans is the timing. Just as the team was starting to gain national respect and Super Bowl buzz, this controversy could throw the entire organization off course. Waddle's rumored decision to draw a line in the sand could force the Dolphins to make an impossible choice between two elite receivers. Do they back the younger, quieter Waddle, seen as a long-term cornerstone, or do they stick with the explosive, headline-grabbing Hill, whose presence commands defensive game plans weekly? Either way, there's no easy answer. Trade rumors are already circulating, with several teams reportedly monitoring the situation closely. If Waddle truly refuses to suit up alongside Hill, Miami may have no choice but to consider parting ways with one of their stars. For a franchise that's worked so hard to build momentum, this could be a catastrophic blow to team chemistry and public image. While fans remain divided on who's in the right, there's no denying the gravity of this reported fallout. Teammates have so far declined to comment publicly, but some have been liking cryptic social media posts that hint at internal discord. One unnamed player allegedly told a reporter that the energy in the locker room changed the moment Hill arrived. Others are reportedly frustrated that the issue is taking attention away from preparing for what was supposed to be a breakout season. If the Dolphins' leadership fails to address the rift quickly and decisively, they risk watching their playoff hopes evaporate before the season even begins. It's not just about two wide receivers anymore. It's about the cultural direction of the entire team. Will Miami prioritize short-term explosiveness or long-term harmony? That's the question on everyone's mind as the days tick down to the season opener. Adding fuel to the fire are reports that Hill has become increasingly isolated within the locker room. Sources claim that while he maintains a close circle of allies, many players have grown weary of his attitude and antics. Allegations of disrespect during team meetings, tension with position coaches, and a perceived lack of humility have reportedly strained relationships across the roster. Waddle's breaking point may have come after an off-field incident during a team-sponsored charity event where Hill allegedly made a joke at Waddle's expense that didn't land well with teammates. Since then, communication between the two has reportedly ceased entirely, with Waddle going as far as requesting not to be paired with Hill during any team drills. If true, this level of animosity between star players is a nightmare scenario for any coaching staff trying to maintain a cohesive locker room. From a business perspective, the Dolphins are in a bind. Both Hill and Waddle are marketable stars with massive fan followings, and both have deals that reflect their value to the team. Releasing or trading either would send shockwaves through the organization and the NFL. Yet keeping both under the current circumstances might be just as damaging. League insiders speculate that Miami might look to quietly resolve the issue through mediation, potentially involving team veterans or even outside consultants to cool tensions. However, those close to the team say the divide may be too wide to bridge. As the rumor mill spins faster, the front office must weigh the cost of disruption against the reward of elite performance. It's a delicate balance, and any misstep could have far-reaching consequences on and off the field. Speculation has also turned to a quarterback, Tua Tagovailoa, who now finds himself in a nearly impossible position. As the offensive leader, he must navigate this tense dynamic without alienating either receiver. Some believe Tua may be leaning towards supporting Waddle, given their shared history and chemistry dating back to college. Others think he's trying to play peacemaker, hoping to salvage what was once the most feared offensive trio in the league. Regardless, the pressure on Tua has never been higher. If he fails to keep the offense functioning amid the chaos, criticism will likely land on his shoulders. Fair or not, that's the reality of being a franchise quarterback. The situation has cast a shadow over what was supposed to be a year of growth and stability for Miami, and Tua's response could determine whether the Dolphins remain contenders or crumble from within. As this story continues to develop, fans and analysts alike are holding their breath for some sort of resolution. Will cooler heads prevail, or are we witnessing the beginning of a major breakup in Miami? The silence from Dolphins leadership only adds to the intrigue, as the organization appears to be handling the matter internally for now. But as we've seen time and time again in the NFL, internal drama rarely stays internal for long. The longer the team waits to address the issue publicly, the more control they lose over the narrative. Whether this is just a bump in the road or the start of a full-blown meltdown remains to be seen. But one thing is clear, the Dolphins are no longer just fighting for wins, they're fighting to hold their team together. Stay tuned because this story is far from over. That's a wrap for today's dive. If you're loving the content, share it with a fellow Dolphins fan, hit subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a splash. Fittings up.